stuff for hurling.
Dahi, what do you think? Will it mean that the players won't be able to keep the intensity going for the full 70 minutes?
Well, I think from a Clare perspective, we're going to have to keep the intensity going. I don't think anybody expects Clare to outpoint Waterford, and I think with the fitness levels that will be imbued in them with Mike's notorious training sessions, I don't think fitness from a Clare perspective is going to be a problem.
OK, well, when we return after the break, we rewind to the controversial meeting of these two great rivals back in 1998, when we hear from the man in the middle of one of hurling's greatest battles.
Some would have been anything, but this dot wanted to travel, so it became a line.
There ain't a cloud in sight in the city.
And the dot made friends and multiplied.
Mr. Blue Sky.
And the dot surged with life. Until the dot realized that it could become anything. Guinness, it's alive inside.
When TV3 said they wanted to make a show about a comedian going to Edinburgh, I jumped at the chance. Who wouldn't?
How one comedian can make or break his career at the world's largest comedy festival. Picking up tips from PJ Gallagher, Des Bishop, Dara O'Brien and many more. Nobody Knows Jarlath Regan starts Friday at 10:40 on 3.
You're very welcome back. Time now to remind you of our first football action here on TV3. Next Sunday we're at headquarters as Leinster's heavyweights Dublin put their title on the line against Louth. Our coverage starts at 3 with throw-in at 4. And there's a man we were talking about earlier, a legend of Clare hurling, Davy Fitzgerald. I wonder how he feels about today's game now. As remember, he was very much involved a decade ago when these two teams played out one of the most controversial Munster finals in history. The man caught in the middle that day was Willie Barrett.
Referee's job is actually to stay out of the media and be as inconspicuous as possible, and you'd hope every day you go out that you would referee the match and no one would actually comment or say anything about the referee and you get on with your life. But unfortunately that didn't happen in 1998 in that game. Munster finals are tough, hard games, and you know, soft teams don't win them. The occasion was probably even greater by the fact that both teams had drawn and served up a really good match the first day. We were given an instruction by the officials of Munster Council that everyone was to be in their dugouts at the start of the game in order to prevent anyone running around the field, etc. So it was drawn to my attention just prior to the throw-in that, you know, some personnel from the teams were not in their dugouts. So I went out to rectify that matter. And when I went out, I remember first going to one dugout, then I went to the second dugout, to the Clare dugout, and I noticed the crowd behind the selectors and that in the dugout getting very agitated. And I looked behind and there was a bit of jostling going on. So I immediately went in and said, it's time to get the game going here. So I threw in the ball, and there was a lot of pulling at the start, as I call it, you know. And I believe I gave a free to Waterford. When I looked at the pulling later on in television, maybe I should have seen more. That's the only thing I felt. Then I did see. The game was tough. It was hard. You were expecting one to be hard. The pulling was hard. But of course, you know, when the players were sent off, I think the game maybe took a turn that there was a greater concentration on the ball. But I mean, Munster finals are tough when they're hard, and that was certainly a very, very tough game. You'd always read the papers on Monday. If you're honest, you'll read all the papers on Monday and see what the reaction to the game was. I was a bit taken back by the strong reaction of the game itself by the commentators. I sent in my report I wrote it on Sunday evening and posted it on Monday morning that time. I remember well, I always had a tendency that if the game was on television, I would write the report immediately after coming home, before any media coverage came on, and send off the report, so that I couldn't be influenced by anything that happened, or anything I might see later on television. So I sent off my report. My report didn't mention Collinage, you know. It just mentioned the lads that I put off. And, you know, when you referee a match, you send in your report, you're finished with the game. That's it. And I sent in my report, and that was it. You know, what Munster Council chose to do afterwards was their business. In that particular year, I didn't do another match. I didn't do another senior match because, you know, I hadn't performed, I suppose would be a fair comment by the people in charge, to the level that was acceptable in a Munster final. And because of that, I didn't get another match. And there was no need for me to ring up and ask why. You know, I got back on track, if you like, in '99 and perhaps put it behind me. But, I mean, that's all you can do. You can't dwell on the past. There's nothing in the past you can change. The only thing you can ensure that it doesn't ever again happen. Unfortunately for Jimmy, and even for me, it happened in the same year. A couple of weeks later, we had that match between Offaly and Clare. And he obviously got it wrong in the timekeeping, and you know, I was really sorry for Jimmy. Jimmy was coming strong as a referee at that particular time, and I felt really sympathetic towards Jimmy. And I knew what he was going through. I just knew what he was going through. Unfortunately, the timing went wrong on him, and he suffered quite a bit as well. And you know, what's supposed again, I suppose, is that all those things happened all in 1 year, all in '98. As a referee, you get one chance to see a game in 70 or 70-odd minutes, and that's it. If you miss it, you have to live with it. If you see it, you report it. Or if you see it, you take action and you report it. It's as simple as that. And I reported what I saw, and I took action on what I saw and what was told to me by my officials. That's all I could do. I feel myself that, no, I didn't have a good match.
Very honest there, Liam, but who'd be a ref?
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that strikes you from that clip. He was really so honest about it. And Jimmy Coyne, these are great guys. I mean, where would we be without these fellas? And to think that he gets dumped to one side without anybody come back with a bit of analysis and a bit of assistance and a bit of help.